I know you listening. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna include a hat. If you lose, I gotta buy a hat, a Dallas Cowboys hat. I said, okay, bet. You know me, I ain't backing away from no challenges. So I said, okay, bet in the comments. Then you was like, oh no, we're gonna sweeten the deal even further. You know how Ant get, oh yeah, we're gonna do this. So then, guess what? He's like, yo, we're gonna do the Yoke 'em Up challenge. And sure enough, I accept. You know what I gotta do this, man. This is for off the record.
Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
I was just taking a drink of some Don Tito's.
This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy, Scotty B. Yo, I tell you, man, you got to be one of the pettiest individuals on the planet. I mean, that was just flat out cruel.
I thought it was pretty
It was
creative.
funny. It was funny. But so I've been on the other side of that.
Absolutely. Me too.
Yeah. So I found it funny, but I have a lot of sympathy for Charles because that was just flat out cruel.
So Charles is our friend.
And treat our friends, folks.
And exactly. If we didn't treat you like that, you should think something's wrong and what's happening. You know, so you know, we're here. So we got some things to talk about. We're gonna bring Charles on in a little bit, but it's been a crazy week in the NFL and sports in general. Where you want to get started?
So we'll start with we got Thanksgiving Day tomorrow. Happy
Thanksgiving
holidays, everybody. Hope you're ready in line for good food. Whole bunch of
Some places have good food, you know.
well, some places, but I think it's pretty hard to mess up a Thanksgiving meal. I can count.
I've seen an episode of Martin.
but really, how many places have you been where you was just like, you know what? That's the worst Thanksgiving I've ever had.
Oh no, it's hard. I don't think I've.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. I agree there. I don't. If that happens, you're like, oh. I mean, and more times than not, it's not from cooking. I have been to I won't name any names, but I've been to a Thanksgiving where it was like the food wasn't the greatest. It wasn't my family, you know. It was just like side.
I can think of one.
Uh-oh.
And it was when I was like a child. It was like when I was like maybe like 12 or like 13.
Right.
So this particular year, my
On Thanksgiving? Wow. McDonald's on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's the only one where I could think that the food was pretty bad.
All right, so this is what we're going. I know some people is going to eventually join us in the comments. Post some of your worst Thanksgiving memories, because that I want to know now. Because you had to go to McDonald's on Thanksgiving. That's yikes.
You know the funny part is, after we get off the air, I'm gonna call my sister and see if she remembers that. And call my mother. and see if she remembers that.
How long ago was it? If you don't mind us asking.
So I had to be maybe 12. So
Okay.
we're talking quite some years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. I don't think I've had any like that bad where I had to go to McDonald's or that's brutal. Now
I'll tell you the worst part about it too, right? So my mom's friend, she was a police officer, and she had other police officers over, and it was around the time that Speed had came out, right?
Mhm.
But like you remember, like when Speed like came out, it wasn't like everybody hadn't seen it.
Right.
So at this point, it had been out for like it was new, but it wasn't that new.
Right.
And I just remember just sitting there eating, and just everybody was just talking through Speed, like it
And you was
just,
getting pissed off.
as pissed off as a 12-year-old.
Right.
You
But
know.
y'all shut up.
Well, you know, like when you watch cops that watch cop shows or cop movies,
Right.
they want to critique
Everything.
that-
like it's not a movie.
yeah,
Like it's not
exactly.
fixed. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, all right. So, I mean, we got the Thanksgiving Day games tomorrow, which I think are going to be good. I think they got 3 good games. I want to say it's Detroit, Green Bay, Dallas, and Washington. Well, that may not. I mean, I mean, crazier things have happened. And then you have 49ers, Seahawks. I mean, I think it's straight. I think there's going to be a majority of people, unless you're a fan of the opposite team, that's going to pick the Detroit, Dallas, and San Francisco to win. But I think in all, those are three good games to have on Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. I think with the Lions, I mean, this is the first time they've been like 8-2 and
I don't remember. I don't even by seeing the years. I don't even remember them being 8-2.
I think they said it was like something like 1961 or something like that. They were talking about like I want to say they said Kennedy. Who,
Oh my God!
who was in office? No, it's been a while since they've been 8-2. So you know, and I think most people get agreed that Detroit is. I mean, they're for real, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've got 2 outstanding running backs, good offensive line, and good offense. Their defense is okay, but I think that they should be able to win against the Packers. I don't think it's going to be.
They struggled with the Bears.
They did struggle with the Bears.
They literally needed a miracle to win that game. So you could look at it a couple ways. You could say, well, you know, they showed some fight and they never quit. Or you could say they struggled against the Bears.
I think the Bears did everything they could to lose that game.
Mm-hmm.
It was some very questionable calls toward the end. I thought the Bears were going to get out of there with a victory. But I think that's the difference between, I'm not going to say championship teams, but playoff or contending teams is sometimes things aren't going to go your way, but can you grind it out, continue to fight?
Can you do what?
Pause. The late pause. What is late?
It's all good. It's all good. Better late than never. Yeah. So no. I mean, I feel like the Lions are. I think they're for real, but they could easily lose this game on Thanksgiving, and you'd be like, and I don't think it'll still be an issue. I still think they're going to win a division. But this is division games, and division games are the hardest games.
You know why they could lose? If the defense for the Lions is not that great. And Jordan Love, I mean, he had his first 300-yard game last week.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some pretty good receivers to where if they get behind, it can become a shootout. And you know, I didn't expect them to beat the Chargers last week, but they were able.
They found a way.
Yeah, they figured it out. So I still have the Lions, but I guess we can't totally discount the Packers.
Okay, you know, Let's bring, because we're gonna talk about the Cowboys. Let's bring our guest on.
Okay.
We're gonna bring. All right, we got a special guest today for special reasons. You know, hey Charles, you on mute?
Here we go. What is going on, my brothers?
How you doing, brother?
Charles. So some may be wondering why Charles is here, but if you saw the intro, you kind of have an idea. You know, and we'll get to that part later. You know, we're talking sports right now.
Yes.
We're talking sports right now. And Charles is our resident Carolina Panthers fan. I mean, he's all of six that's out there, because it was literally the Carolina Cowboys on Sunday. But respectfully,
Okay.
you know, but from that game, I know some people are like, well, they played the Panthers. The Panthers only have one win, and you know, what did you make from the game? First of all, I felt like the Cowboys played a rather sloppy game. As a coach, I would have been frustrated with that game, right? Because you want to execute and you want to do this, that, and the third. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like had we played our game, it could have been 60-something to whatever they 3 or whatever. No, and
I know, but this is realistic. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, no. I feel like, but it's almost like the Panthers were doing any and everything they could do to try and blow that game.
So let me ask you this: you weren't concerned about halftime, right? So
no,
it was one of those things to where I looked at the game and I said, "Oh, it's 21-14. The Panthers have a shot." And as soon as I said that, it just turned into a blowout. In the second half, I was like, "Wow!"
But
for a moment, and this was not even looking at the game. This was, oh wow, it's 21-14. Maybe, possibly, maybe God is with Chuck. And maybe so
you know, good goddamn well they were not with Chuck. I'm sorry, Charles. I'm sorry.
So Charles, I have to say this, right?
Yeah.
So I've been part of a lot of fundraisers, right? And one of the fundraisers that's pretty typical in my work environment is, we call it Pie the Manager, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, pretty much everybody pay a certain amount, you know, donate, put their name in a hat, you know, whatever it is, right? You get your name drawn, you get the pie manager. So you always have like the friendly pie, right? You know, to where like, you know, it's just a tap, you know, you get the whipped cream, whatever, you know, in your face, and it is what it is, right? But then every now and then, you see the ones with a little frustration to where the pie turns into borderline a punch and borderline disrespect, and it's just not there. I think you made the right decision by not coming here today. Because I want to tell you, there's a yoke 'em up challenge, you know, a little friendly yoke 'em up challenge. Hey, over top of your head, pause. But then there's the grunk spike.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, right?
Somebody was
I want to tell you, right? My co-host called me today.
He was
to remind me of this day, as if I had forgot. And I want to tell you, he sounded like Christmas came early. I have not heard him this excited in a really long time. So when I heard that you was going to be here in person, and you know, I've got my son at Off the Record Studios today.
Cam, you want to come say what up to the people?
Come
say what up. He was here. Come. They can't see you.
They can't see
you.
There you go.
All right. So look, we've been doing the show for almost 10 years now. This is his first appearance And it was to see.
Oh man.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's reasons, right? There's reasons, you know, that so like for instance, I like you come on our show doing things like
Yeah. Woo!
you come on our show doing stuff like that, and I'm like, all right, okay, then you have things like this.
We got some money on that Carolina Cowboys game, so we definitely got to get an update on that too. Okay, because I'm coming back to.
So you coming to collect, right? No, listen. You had energy,
Well, this is nothing new, folks out there on the internet. I'm like this in person. This ain't nothing new with the energy.
He's right. And I got one more clip. Charles. This is not even the way the thing was supposed to go, but this is where we at. This is the flow of the show. All right, last one. My question is, are we yoking them up again this year or what? You live on the air. You are live on Off the Record. You are live on Off the Record.
We haven't had a good old yoke 'em up challenge.
You know when the last time we had to yoke 'em up? Charles. So, hey, you said you on your revenge tour was good.
Oh, let's go then. Yoke them up it is. Let's go. Hands are shook.
Well. Look at here. So for all you guys that don't know, Charles made a bet. We made a bet, and it's the holidays. So the reason why he's not sitting right here over there, traffic. It was traffic. I get it. I understand. The Lord works in mysterious ways, Because I can tell you now, it wasn't gonna be no polite smashing of the egg, It was gonna be some scrambled eggs.
Man.
But Charles, we were gonna wait till after the winner of the week. And it's about that time. Let's get some horns.
First of all, I'd like to present this egg that says, "Hey, yo!" and "Whoa!" and "F you, Ant."
Damn!
Because I love y'all, bros. But
wait. Before you go.
Okay.
Here's the thing. And I want people to know why we had this bet. So a little over 2 years ago, it was about 25 months ago, the Cowboys played the Panthers in Dallas. And we had a bet. And part of it was Yokohama. I didn't even wear the Panthers hat today because I didn't want to pour salt in the wound.
Mm-mm.
But we made a bet again. I gave you an out. So for people to say let Charles off the hook in the spirit of the holidays, no, I will not. We will not let Charles off the hook. The Cowboys won. What was the final score? 33-10 or something like that. 33-10. So what I'll say is, Charles, I love you, my brother. The floor is yours. The Yoki Yoke, the Yoke 'em Up challenge, eggs on eggs. The floor is yours, my brother.
Shout out to Off the Record, first of all. I love y'all bros, man. Like we I'm gonna treat this like Robert Tuss and say Off the Record! Egg. Happy Thanksgiving, folks. Enjoy yourselves. Yes, the drip, and the drip. And I got the y'all been prepared, baby.
Now, I will say this. you, sir, I think you took it light on the smashing of the egg, but I appreciate you nonetheless. Because that joint is all right. So thanks, man. Hey, this man, he's a man of his word. He pays his bets, and yeah, and your wife is gonna kick your butt for eggs are expensive, buddy.
Hey.
Yeah.
I know.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is there any other bets you want to place before the season's out?
No.
So
I'm
let
gonna
me ask
take
you a question. So look, check this out. The Panthers are 1-8, 1-9, 1-8, whatever they got one win, right? Over or under that they win 2 more games.
Nope.
No, we're not making a bet. I'm asking you as a fan. Do you think y'all guys could win at least 3 games this season? And this is all jokes aside.
In all honesty, I think they only have like 1 game.
Dang.
In all honesty, that's it. Like just looking at like how they're playing and everything else, they just got 1, if that, and that's a possible.
Hey, it would be sweet justice for it to be against the Saints, but
Oh yeah.
I hope so. You know what?
So
Hi,
we'll
Marcus.
see. So I had some other clips of you you calling guys out, but I ain't
No.
I ain't gonna
We don't
play
need
them.
to do that.
You already got yoked up. I don't want nobody getting any other ideas, man. So
Oof.
all right, man. I guess
Well, you know what? I'll take the egg, but at least I barbecued the goats. I'm happy.
yeah.
Hey, so look, you are on the playoff run.
Yes.
Keep that hope alive and keep that spirit going.
Yeah, I'm trying to and I'm just be honest, I'm trying to knock the Wet Bandits out of the playoffs. That last game of the season.
Wow. And that's our good friend Marcus. I don't know if he's around yet. He'll be around here sooner or later. We'll make sure we relay that message.
Yeah. Definitely do that. Yeah. This is fantasy.
Who do you have this week?
I have Mike Bolger.
So that's one of the people he called out in
That's
September.
another person that's on his playoff run too.
Yeah. So
yep. I'm trying to sweep the season. I took him out the first game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm about to collect again.
Did y'all make a bet for this matchup?
No, we ain't betting. I just know what's about to happen. He's going to lose this game. That's it.
All right. Well,
best of luck to both of y'all. That'll be interesting. See how that plays out.
Yeah.
All right, man. So, hey, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate you.
All right. Thanks for having me. I will be in the comments.
All right.
Later.
Yeah. That's our excellent friend, Charles.
That was good, man. Good sport about that. And so he is lucky. And one time I lost the Yoke 'em Up challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easier if you don't have any hair.
That is true. That is true. I mean, because at that point you just got treated like shampoo.
Yeah.
You just treat it like shampoo, and you just
like he used the towel and he was good. But if you got hair, it is far worse. And he did it too, to where he got it over with.
Yeah.
Like if you try to prolong it, it's
the inevitable is the inevitable.
Yeah, exactly.
So all right, so we can talk about some of the games from or some of the storylines from this past week. Okay. The Pittsburgh Steelers fired Matt Canada. The first time they fired a coach since the 40s, which is funny because the last coach that got fired from the Steelers was like a part owner of the Steelers, and he fired himself, right? But he still owned the team. So it's just like, it's just something that they just don't do, right? And I know a lot of the fans were calling for it, but what happened? I mean, I think partly is Buffalo. They saw Buffalo fire Ken Dorsey, and their offense looked a whole lot better against a good Jets defense. So, I mean, it was shocking because I didn't think they were going to fire him during the season. But what are your thoughts on that whole situation? Because their offense is horrid.
So I think the players have to take a lot of accountability.
Okay.
I know that they've got a lot of confidence in their quarterback, but the quarterback just really has not been getting it done. I think this season, most people thought that Kenny Pickett was going to take the next step.
I mean, he had a hell of a preseason.
Yeah, he had a hell of a preseason. I mean, a lot of people thought that they were going to be – I mean, they still are good, right? So I think you said it. I can't think if you said it here or it was a private conversation, but that Steelers defense is a championship defense.
Yep.
That defense has been playing lights out and has been carrying that team. You look at it, Najee Harris, Kenny Pickett, I mean, they've been just underperforming. I mean, Najee Harris, I think that with Warren kind of right there, he's tried to at least intensify his running by, running more aggressively and finishing runs, but he's slow as ketchup, man. And, I mean, he just literally – the yards per carry is not there for him.
Right.
Kenny Pickett, he's got the receivers, right? So he's got Deontay Johnson. George Pickens is, I mean,
he's a monster
receiver. Yeah. And, the tight end, I know he just came off the IR, but he's got weapons at receiver.
He does. Yep.
So I put the ownership on him a little bit more and the players. And I thought that it was maybe a scapegoat route with firing the OC.
I don't know if I wouldn't say scapegoat. I mean, because before last week, they hadn't scored an offensive touchdown since like September or something. It's been crazy, or October. It has been a long time since they scored an offensive touchdown. And a lot of that could be the quarterback. A lot of it could be the play call. There's no movement on the offense. It's just bland. It's vanilla. It's just, whatever. So, and the thing is, man, they were saying fire Ken. They was chanting it. And he was just unliked by the fan base. And I think his only friend was Mike Tomlin. And once Najee Harris said what he said after the game last week, somebody had to go. And if you have to, you're not gonna get rid of Mike Tomlin, So it's something has to change in here, and it had to be. He's the odd man out,
Yeah, I mean, with George Pickens have been vocal.
Yeah.
Up until that point. So you're right. It had to be the odd man out, but best of luck to the Steelers. I mean, I think we all always root for Mike Tomlin.
Right. Yeah.
That he's been having with what he's dealt. As usual, he's gotten the most out of his players, and that team is overachieved.
And he needs 2 more wins for another winning season. So I'm almost certain that they're going to get that. And so here's the thing. I think that I forget who they play this week, but, I wouldn't be surprised if, there's some sort of jolt in the offense, just because. And here's the thing. Buffalo got a boost playing the Jets. Now they play the Eagles. And that's a funny game because I feel like the Eagles have they have the Bills and then they have the 49ers, right? And I feel like they're gonna lose one of those games or both of those games. And it's weird because I feel like they have the Eagles I'm talking about has a boost of energy after beating the Chiefs. But I also feel like Buffalo, they look different. They look different last week. Right now, again, it's the Jets, and it's a division game. And again, those games are hard, but the Jets beat them first game of the season. So I feel like they feel that that they had to win that game. So they were a little desperate. I don't know if, and they should still be desperate, the Bills that is, but I don't know how that relays into Sunday. Now, I want the Bills to win. I need the Bills to win because, it is what it is, but
something's off with the chemistry. And I think
Agreed.
that was a lot of the reason why Ken Dorsey was fired. Something, I know Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, they could play nice in front of the camera.
something's off.
Something's off. I don't know if you saw Tavon Diggs
I did.
his tweet about how basically that Josh Allen wasn't good until Diggs got there.
Yep.
Stephon Diggs came out and said, hey, that's not how I feel. But typically, like when you're that close to your brother, and it may not have been a direct reflection, but I'm sure you've had conversations and you feel that way. When I watch the offense, it's very off balance. And you were the first one to say this. They don't run the ball at all. And that contributes to a lot of their problems. People have been saying for years they put too much of the offense in Josh Allen's hands, and it becomes predictable to a point. So hopefully they can iron out all that stuff, but it's going to be tough. Now, as far as the Eagles beating the Chiefs, the Chiefs have a glaring problem that they can fix, and it's their offense.
They can fix?
The receivers can step up. I mean, that's the defense. Their defense is playing style, right?
Absolutely.
It's just really they adopted the Patriot way with the receivers.
I don't know if it was on purpose, but yeah.
Well, I mean, so certain teams really can identify receiver talent. Like I always look at the Steelers, right? For whatever reason,
they know how
to identify
and develop them
and develop them, right?
Yeah.
The Steelers always have a phenomenal receiver, at least for the past 15 years.
I think longer than that.
Yeah, they always have a phenomenal receiver. I think that's super underrated. As a 49er fan, before we got Ayuk and before we got Debo, we went through a similar transition to where every receiver outside of Terrell Owens that we drafted, it was just a miss, right?
JJ Stokes and
What just I'm trying to think of the guy from Illinois, and Crabtree was okay, but we drafted him in the first round, and that just didn't materialize. And there was a lot of receivers to where we would go speedster, maybe possession receiver. We've tried getting rugby players and all sort of things, and we could never find the right receiver. I think the Chiefs are in a little bit of that predicament to where they drafted a lot of guys, brought in a lot of guys, picked up a lot of free agents. But the reality is that Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill. And you can't just replace that type of talent. And you're thinking, okay, yeah, you just got Patrick Mahomes out there, and as great as he is, he does need somebody else other than Travis Kelce.
And Kelce is hurt. He's been hurt for Lord knows how long. So I guess you're right. I guess they just have to make a couple plays a game, right? I think that's all Mahomes needs them to do. Just make 1 or 2 plays per game, each of you guys, and we'll be fine. But the fact that they have they lead the league in drops. Now last week, I mean, you saw Kelce drop a couple, and he fumbled. And Mahomes, I think that interception was on him in the red zone. So I feel like, yes, they could have easily won that game. And I'm not saying that they're done. I still think that they can win the AFC. Will they? I don't know. I honestly, I think the Ravens should be the favorite in the AFC. I know you're going to say, Ravens again. Yeah.
No, I think since you said it, I've had to come along a little bit more because as we've consistently highlighted on this show, there is no team that's out there that's running away with it. I mean, you saw that the Chiefs could be beat. You felt all along the Eagles could be beat.
Mhm.
You know, the Dolphins have shown vulnerabilities. The 49ers have shown vulnerabilities.
Everybody has.
Dallas has. So
Yeah.
every team, if you catch them at the right moment, or it's going to be important this last stretch of football, who gets hot.
I
and
was
who's
just about to say that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like
everybody-
almost like college basketball. Are you
Right.
getting who's getting hot at the right time?
I mean, we were just talking about Buffalo and Pittsburgh. Who knows if those moves were the moves that will alter their destination?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know.
So Phil asks, does the Chiefs do that? First of all, that's not proper grammar, but do the Chiefs have an identity? And he went to Brown, by the way, everybody. But whatever. Do they have an identity? I mean, their identity is Patrick Mahomes. That is their identity. Offensively, I think that they rely, like we talk about the Bills relying on Josh Allen for everything. My thing is they rely on Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. I personally think that they should give Pacheco the ball a lot more. He should get touches in the passing game more, and in the running game. And honestly, you just brought up the Patriots, the Patriot way. They should use him how the Patriots use James White. I mean, he's good enough he can catch out the backfield, and he runs well. I mean, he's a good running back. So I think if it needs to be Mahomes, Kelce, and Pacheco, and then those receivers need to make 1 or 2 plays per game. And again, you have Mahomes, who, first of all, I think the scariest thing for defenses is 3rd and 4th and long against Mahomes, because he'll convert that a lot more than he will convert 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 5. And even on that 4th and 25, that should have been the first down. He should have caught the ball.
So I agree with Phil for all the reasons that you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, you are absolutely right, right? When you have Patrick Mahomes, your identity has to be offense. But the eye test, and I guess what's been really carrying them and holding them together is their defense. Now, Patrick Mahomes has been playing pretty good. You know, like he hasn't had.
Yeah, he's decent.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good. He's had
He's had better years, but this is not a bad year or down year for him.
Right.
Like, he's been doing his job, but that defense, we talk about drafting and identifying talent. Last year, they identified a lot of talent through the draft. They developed them as the season went.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we talked about it last week that possibly they were hoping to do the same thing offensively, was bring those receivers along. And they still have time, right? You know, because we still, we got 7 more weeks to where they can still pick it up. But it goes back to your point, right? Who's going to step up? Who's going to want to be the man? And is that man currently on this roster? What you started everything with, and I think most people would agree, based on what we've seen so far, that man is not on that roster.
Right.
And it's going to take a GOAT to propel that offense. And
that's
they do have a GOAT.
That's true.
So you can't discount them, but you're right. Like at some point, when does that finally bite them in the rear end?
You look at it, I know DeAndre Hopkins probably would have helped. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they try and go after Stephon Diggs. And they're probably going to draft another receiver.
DeAndre Hopkins would have absolutely helped, because I thought that he had lost a step, but he can beat his man downfield.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he doesn't have the same burner, but I think I was surprised that he did not go to the Chiefs. Now, I get it, right? And I'll bring this up to shift focus a little bit. Carmelo Anthony said something that was interesting a couple weeks ago. We never got to really address it. He talked about players nowadays are more into the brand and the bag than necessarily getting rings, right?
Right.
And I guess the same thing you could apply to like football. Like you could apply to every sport, to where you can still get your money without getting a ring. And it's more important to set up your longevity and your future
Mhm.
opposed to getting a ring, because
Right.
that opens up different opportunities and more opportunities.
You get that ring, though, it's gonna open opportunities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's forever like bragging rights.
Mhm.
But you look at the Chiefs, right?
Mhm.
And you look at somebody like DeAndre Hopkins. I guess what he was viewing is my payday, the days or the time frame to where I can really get the bag
Mhm.
are. Well, I'm on the wrong side of that, right?
Right.
I have very few opportunities to cash in on a payday.
Mhm.
So do I leave this payday and go play with, when it's all said and done, possibly the greatest quarterback of all time?
Mhm.
Or do I get this back when that time is up and I'm a little bit more washed up? Then I can go play with this quarterback.
So that's a good way to look at it. But I say this: you look at somebody like Travis Kelce, right? He got his ring, right? But he also got his back. He's probably underpaid right now, NFL wise, right? He got the ring. He got 2 rings. Plays with Mahomes, and now he has his own podcast. But he's on damn near every other commercial. He has multiple commercials with just from being on the Chiefs, right? So could DeAndre Hopkins have taken less money on the field from their team, but got more money in the long run by endorsements? I mean, you with Patrick Mahomes, just think about it like this. When, let's use Chris Paul. We use Chris Paul because I think that's the easiest one. What Chris Paul did for a ton of his teammates was like no other, right? You think about it. When he was with the Clippers and he was with was it State Farm?
Yeah.
State Farm. He got DeAndre Jordan on those commercials, Blake Griffin on those commercials. Now Blake Griffin was I guess you could say he was a star at that time. He was pretty popular. He could jump out the gym. I think he had Kia or whatever. But DeAndre Jordan had nothing. All right, he had nothing. We didn't see him. He leaves or gets traded. He leaves the Clippers and goes to Houston. Now, who do you see on those State Farm commercials with him? James Harden. And it's like, damn, he's putting these guys on, and he's making sure that they're getting money from these places. And it may not just be. It may now these guys now have Sprite commercials. They got this and that. Like, got have that. You look at Travis Kelce. He wouldn't be in all these damn commercials if he played for another. You could pick a team: Baltimore, Dallas. Dallas is a little different, but San Francisco, Philly, Green Bay. He wouldn't have these endorsements. He has like 6 or 7 different commercials on TV right now.
So I think, and I agree with you, and you're absolutely correct. But I think with DeAndre, so let's look at DeAndre Hopkins. Let's look at Tyreek Hill, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got Tyreek Hill. He leaves Mahomes. He goes to 2. There has not been one single drop-off of production. And one would argue that Tua, once he got Tyreek Hill, showed that he was actually a legitimate quarterback.
Absolutely.
One could argue that the addition of Tyreek Hill saved his career, right?
Tua's career. Correct. I agree.
Undeniable.
I agree.
We know that that's the guy in Miami. Before getting Tyreek Hill, he was there. So if I'm Tyreek Hill, I'm looking at it that I'm great enough to make any quarterback great, right? Because I've got the speed. If all you gotta do is put the ball in my vicinity. I'm gonna go get it,
and I'll score.
I'm gonna make you great.
Right.
I want to put you on a pedestal because you're throwing to me, right?
Absolutely.
DeAndre Hopkins. You look at when he was with Deshaun Watson. Ultimately, since Deshaun Watson has not had DeAndre Hopkins, I know he didn't have him for one season when he was in Houston, but we'll say it's a minor drop off. Right?
Well, hold on, time out. Wait. No, he threw for damn near 5,000 yards.
Yeah, he threw for 5,000 yards, but I think DeAndre Hopkins was good with all the quarterbacks prior to Deshaun Watson and Deshaun Watson.
That is true. That is true.
He goes to Arizona. He's got the same thing with Kyler Murray. He got the same thing with Colt McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
All those guys, right?
Yep.
So if you're DeAndre Hopkins, you're looking at Ryan Tannehill, right? and it's a fair assessment. I would advise them a little bit differently. but if I'm DeAndre Hopkins, I'm looking at Ryan Tannehill.
I can make him great.
I can make him great because I've got Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
I can go there. If he just throws me the ball, he'll see an upgrade.
And there are other receivers there that could help. That could be role players. So listen, here's the thing: the Titans, well coached, have a pretty good offensive line, and got Derrick Henry. Tannehill he's not the worst quarterback in the league. You know, he's played. DeAndre Hopkins has played with worse, right? And I don't know if I said well coached, but they're well coached, right? So, you know, I didn't think it was that bad of an idea. I didn't think, you know, but Tannehill's gotten hurt. He hasn't played the greatest, and Derrick Henry looks like a shell of himself. So that changes things.
It does.
And DeAndre Hopkins honestly looks like a shell of himself. Now, Will Levis gave him a boost. We'll see what happens this weekend, but I don't know.
But go back to our original point when we started the show, when we talked
Mhm.
about Josh Allen, right?
Right.
And you go back to Diggs. One could argue that everybody and their mother thought that Josh Allen was trash before he got Diggs.
I wouldn't say trash.
But there was a lot of people that
He wasn't as
arguing
good. He wasn't as
he was a
good.
bust. And Josh Allen actually, him and Tua were similar boats, right? To where it was one of those situations to where you had certain people. I myself in both situations, not getting them dudes out there, give somebody else an opportunity. And then that third or fourth season,
Mm-hmm.
it couldn't.
Well, Tua's situation was different than Josh. Tua was hurt.
He was hurt, but I'm saying like they kind of
We had the argument. We argued like crazy because I was like, well, he's winning games. And he was like, yeah, but he's only thrown for like 95 or 100 and something yards. Right. But I'm like, yeah, but he threw the game-winning touchdown. Remember, we had those conversations.
We had those conversations,
Mm-hmm.
but part of those conversations that we had was time because they were both young quarterbacks.
Correct. Yep.
And then two, do you put them in the right system and give them the right weapons, right?
Right.
So you give them a receiver, you give them a little bit of time, they could possibly develop.
Right.
With receivers, and they have to be careful is it's got to be the right quarterback, right? So you look at like Tannehill, you look at A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown he was hurt a lot of seasons, but one will argue that he's having his better years in Philadelphia.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it wasn't like, in my opinion, that Tannehill had like a receiver that he made great. Like you look at Matt Stafford, right? His track record, you know, with Calvin Johnson, you know, with Cooper Kupp. If you're a receiver, hey, maybe I want to play with this guy because I know he knows how to get a receiver the football.
Right.
Same with Patrick Mahomes. You could point, okay, he's making Travis Kelce great. He's made Tyreek Hill great. Possibly, if I'm in the mix, he can throw me the ball and he can get me what I'm looking for as far as a career standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree. So we're gonna have to shelve this because this is a good conversation. We gotta get to the winner of the week.
Oh, I got a good one this week.
Oh boy.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
All right, so look, right, for the most part, I have been slacking with the winner of the week.
Yep.
I'll say this, right. For the most part, nobody has been doing anything stupid or saying anything stupid. Like there have been stupid things, but there've been some legal issues to where, or maybe the person wasn't proven guilty, or some things that we really shouldn't speak on until we've had all the facts. But I've heard one of the dumbest. I mean, downright one of the stupidest comments today. My winner of the week this week is Jim Irsay.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to hear what Jim Irsay said. So I'm gonna recap it, right? So Jim Irsay, in 2014, he got a DUI, right? He said the reason why he got that DUI was because he was a white rich billionaire, and he felt like he was targeted and would not have gotten harassed or even pulled over if he wasn't a white billionaire. And I had to stop for a second, right? Because I was like, Jim Irsay, how do you think it feels to be black? Okay, but let's just even take race out of it, right? Poor people, you think they don't get targeted? Let's go to like the jails and the local prisons, and let's see how many billionaires are in there. Like, are you serious? And he really like doubled down on it because they asked him. It was like, okay, like this is what you said. He's like, yeah, this is what I meant, and I don't care how people perceive it. So look, right? So Jim Irsay, you are going to get all the smoke from the public. At the end of the day, somebody told me a long time ago, we all know that police profile, right? And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people that have got DUIs or DWIs or whatever the case felt that they weren't doing anything wrong and felt that the cop made up something to get them pulled over. And then they didn't pass the sobriety test and ended up with whatever consequences there were. But Jim Irsay, welcome to America. Welcome to America, because it happens to everybody. And to hear that he thought because he was a white billionaire that this only was going to happen to him, and if he wasn't an average Joe, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, did you think that because they didn't accept your bribe, or you couldn't buy your way out of this, that the system wasn't working to your advantage?
I don't think he did jail time. So, all right, let me ask you this. What did he get pulled over for?
So he was driving slower than the speed limit, and he swerved.
Multiple times. He had a DUI, right? He was drunk.
Right, which everybody knows that if you go too slow, you get pulled. You get pulled. There's enough a probable cause to get pulled over anyway. I mean, really, honestly, the police officers can really make up whatever they want to pull you over. And it's going to be your word against theirs. The only way that you're going to beat that is if you're not drunk, right? So if you're drunk and they pull you over, you're going to have a hard time convincing anybody that you were in the right state of mind and you were coherent enough to possibly remember what the officer remembered.
Right.
It just doesn't work that way. So I was shocked, man.
So he had to be drunk when he made that statement. He had to be because you can't in your right. First of all, that's just privilege right there. That's the fact that he wants to say that is the reason why he got pulled over. Or I guess he was arrested. So
he said he failed his sobriety test because he had just had hip surgery and that he couldn't walk a straight line.
All right, so check this out. You own an NFL team. You're a billionaire. You just had hip surgery. Why are you driving? Why don't you have a driver? Why don't you just take one of the? You clearly could buy. He could get an Uber. You're a billionaire, so you can get a driver. Why not just do that? There's plenty of things you can say to this billionaire white man that thinks that he's being profiled.
So they asked him, why did he say that he was guilty? And he said the reason why he said that he was guilty was so he could get it over with.
Oh man. No, I think the reason why he said he was guilty is because he was guilty.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a shame because I know what it's like to be profiled. I'm sure you do. I mean, there's times I got pulled over just because of the type of car I was in, or because I had tint on my window, or it's just been crazy, and I've seen it. I mean, this happened to me. Please, I lived in Chesterfield County. I had to drive through Colonial Heights to get home, Colonial Heights, Virginia, to get home. Trust me, I definitely know what it's like to be profiled. When you really weren't doing anything, right? He was drunk. He was drunk. It is. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I know you ain't perfect. Still, I've driven, and again, when you've drank, the thing is, you always feel like I can make it home. You feel damn near invincible sometimes. You're like, nah, I don't need nobody to drive for me. I can do this, I can do that. And one, that's a disease which he clearly had. We've seen him drunk at press conferences before, So you're not gonna sit here and tell me that one night that you got pulled over that you weren't drunk. No. And you gotta slap on the wrist anyway. He didn't do any jail time. Did he do any jail time? No, he didn't do any jail. I don't even think he had to do community service. He got a fine, which is he's a billionaire. There's no fine that he can get that'll hurt his pockets. So
yeah, the only reason he even got punished by the NFL because it was a big deal, because it was coming out around the same time as I don't want to say this was right around Ray Rice, or it was like
it was somewhere around. It was either Ray Rice or Adrian Peterson or something. It was something going on.
Stuff going on with their personal conduct, and they were really hammering the players.
And he didn't get hit. I think he got suspended for 6 games or something like that. Something like that. I don't
recall what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, I think he got suspended. So, regardless, again, it was a slap on the wrist, because here's the thing. And I never understood this, because I know they did it in the NBA before. I'm like, okay, you suspend an owner from coming to a game for, let's just say, 6 games. In the NBA, let's just say it's 10 games. It's not hurting him because he owns the team and he's making, like, people are going through sides. It's not like you're saying you can't have any fans in the arena. It's like you can't show up to the game to your arena, and it doesn't matter that you're still gonna have 30,000 people in there, and they're gonna be buying popcorn and concessions and gear and all of this other stuff.
Well, like he can't just watch the game at home, or
exactly,
or just.
Thank you.
A lot of other stuff or business.
Exactly. So and that's why I don't think the punishments for owners are ever as fair, or you can't really compare a punishment for an owner than it could for a player, because it hurt the player a whole lot more for him getting suspended than the owner. So it's just, man.
Something I want to talk about before we get out of here. The NBA. Have you been watching?
Yeah, I've been tuned in a bit.
So right now, it's a pretty good young season. Got a lot of surprises. What are your thoughts about this in-game tournament that they're doing?
I like it.
I like it.
I'm not a real big fan of all the courts. I really think that they kept the courts the same and just made the paint different. Like maybe across, had an in-game tournament trophy in the middle of the court and then whatever. But some of those courts, I'm like, I could do without. It's just, I'm like, But I think the tournament itself, I think it's a good idea. And it seems like the players are taking it serious, which is the biggest fear that any league will have. But I think that the players are taking it serious, and we're seeing stars being born.
Yeah, I mean, it is we mentioned this at the beginning of football,
Mhm.
changing the guard, right?
Mhm.
And we're seeing it, right? We're seeing different quarterbacks, we're seeing different receivers, we're seeing different running backs. And basketball is going through something similar to where, you got Steph Curry, LeBron, KD, all those guys are getting up there in age.
Mhm.
So you do see a lot of new rising stars this season going on. I will say this. Right now, you got the typical contenders in the East, with Boston, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Miami. They're all battling. It's too really early to say that one of them is the runaway because, they're like within a game or maybe two games within each other. In the West, you've got Dallas has emerged. Minnesota is playing really good ball.
The Nuggets.
Yeah, the Nuggets too. So you got some shift and momentum there. The team that I'm the most disappointed in is Clippers.
Where they stink.
You do. And it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, until I see them get consistent. Tyronn Lue has his work cut out for him, and he needs to figure it out. He needs to sit these guys down and let them know what's what. Or this is going to be a lost season, and you're going to be going into a new arena next year, not knowing who is who and what is what.
I think the reality, and we talk about it a lot, basketball is a young man's game. And you can't have too much of an older team. It's got to be the right balance of young people and vets, right? And it's got to be a perfect balance. And to your point, it's got to be more of a defined role to what everybody is doing. So hopefully, they can figure it out. It's still early, but right now, since they've gotten hardened, it really hasn't panned out. And it looks like the 76ers.
They moving and grooving.
Yeah, exactly.
Maxey looks good. So we're getting ready to get to the quarterfinals or the knockout round of the I think the only two teams so far that clinched for the Lakers and the Pacers. And Halliburton is saying, I am a star. He's going to be all-star this year. I'll be surprised if he's
I believe he was
all-star last year. Yeah. And he's that boy can ball. And he's putting the league and the world on notice. And if they find a way to win a tournament, that's just going to give these guys, this young team, a boost for the season. And I think that's what the purpose of that in-season tournament is for. Hey, we win these games, and we win this tournament, man. That talk about getting hot at the right time, you're gonna be like, all right. And they got a good team. They got a good team. Obi, Toppin, he's balling.
Yeah, so I'll say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up until this year, I really wasn't as familiar with the in-season tournament.
Sure.
Well, I'm talking about, but it's been around for a long time in soccer.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing is Netflix, Apple TV. They've been like just promoting these soccer documentaries, like crazy. So I've watched the one on Messi, I've watched the one on Neymar, I've watched the one on just about everybody, right. David Beckham, just like all the different types, right? So, and why I brought this up is it goes back to what you said. It does give the team that momentum in soccer because in the Messi one, he came into Miami, which is owned by David Beckham. They were in last place, but that tournament, they ended up winning the in-season tournament, and it gave the team a boost to actually go on a run. And apparently, and that's where this idea of the in-season tournament came from, was all these soccer tournaments. That's where it was adopted. So you got like a lot of fans that, because they are soccer fans, are familiar with it. So that's what it is.
Right. Yeah, and I think they ended up winning the MLS Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. So, it's about that time to get up out of here.
Oh, something to check out too.
Okay.
Shout out to all the NBA players and athletes and just artists that own Major League Soccer teams.
It's a lot of them.
It is a lot.
It's a lot of them.
It is a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could put up a couple $, get a soccer team.
So it's interesting that you say that.
Okay.
None of them were publicly traded yet, but I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I missed the boat on this, because you've got all the ownership groups. I mean,
yeah.
If you get a chance, Google it. I mean, and you just look up.
Well, the what's his name? Is it Josh Harris? John Harris, the owner of the Commanders now. He owns the New Jersey Devils. He owns the 76ers, and he owns the minor league teams too, because he owns a hockey team. I think is it the Buffalo Sabres? I think it's the Buffalo Sabres. And I mean, he owns his group. They own a ton of teams. He pretty much owns in there. He owns the 76ers, the G League team, the professional soccer team, the minor league soccer team. I mean, it's amazing. That what their portfolio is crazy. But yeah, man.
We were talking about James Harden, like him and Oscar De La Hoya. They're like an ownership group of like the Houston team, and then Patrick Mahomes and his wife got
LeBron.
KC. LeBron. Then you got like Irv Gotti. He's got DC.
Oh, United?
Not Irv Gotti, but Bill Gotti.
Yeah.
And then you got like Kevin Durant. He's like him with the 70s, not the 76ers, but Philadelphia. You got the Mannings with the New York team.
It's crazy.
Will Ferrell and like Magic Johnson. They're in with like the LA team. Like it's a lot of
it's a lot of. And soccer is money in soccer. So, all right. Well, it's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back next week. There's no bets that need to be paid. Your parlay. Oh, we are gonna do so check out the YouTube. Now, YouTube. We're gonna do a short, reel on Instagram. We're gonna make our picks, and I think I may do 5 because the last couple weeks I did the whole league, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'll give you 5. Maybe you do a 5, and have a nice gentleman's. We ain't betting, yo. Just make your parlays, make your bets, and go on about your damn business. All right. This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo. Out of here.
Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo, and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.